Hi everyone, I'm not sure how well you can see that on camera, but the flashlight is actually on fire. The flames don't show up that well, but I assure you that it's definitely on fire. So what is today's video about? Well, it's about this flashlight from Isabela Customs. If my camera wants to focus, let me just put out this little fire here quickly. So why did I start the video with a flashlight on fire? Well, I've been torture testing this thing. It's quite hot actually. I've been torture testing this flashlight from Isabela Customs, and one of the most requested things was put it in an oven or set it on fire. So realistically, you do not want to set your flashlight on fire. It's quite dangerous because there is a lithium battery inside, but just to satisfy those people who really wanted to see it on fire, I did do that for you. So what is this all about? Well, this is a flashlight that is designed here in the Philippines. They then have the components made in other countries, sent here, and they do the assembly locally. Now this is a heavy duty flashlight, if you haven't guessed already. I'm going to show you some footage that really puts this to the test. But this one is known as the iX3. What makes it special? Well, it's really the quality of the components. For example, they have a genuine Cree LED inside, which means you get the maximum output per watts, so it's very power efficient while still outputting a lot of light. You've also got the quality of the aluminum itself. It's very thick. You can see it's very thick, very strong. And as you'll see, when I ran this over, it did not deform or anything like that. It kept its shape, which is important because of course you also want to protect the battery that's inside. So you're really paying for quality components. The idea is you buy a flashlight that's going to last you, for countless years. Let's just put the battery in quickly and I'll show you the different modes of this, because it does have different modes. And what you will notice, of course, is it does have rubber O-rings on pretty much every connection, and the idea of that is to keep water out. So it has a tail switch. If we press that down, the light comes on. Now, aside from having different modes, if I press it, it goes to medium, then it goes to low, then it goes to strobe, then it goes to SOS, and then it goes back to the start. Now, aside from having the different modes, it's also zoomable, so you can throw the light further. So if I pull this out, you can see the light is now focused on a smaller spot, which means it can throw further. So you've actually got an adjustable zoom just by pushing this in and out. So that's a pretty useful feature. Now, on the highest setting, this flashlight can actually output up to 1200 lumens. So it is insanely bright. Pretty much whatever you point it at is going to be very well lit up. And I'll show you the zoom like I mentioned earlier. So there you can see the light is focused more in one spot. The camera doesn't really do it justice because it's really overwhelming by having so much light in one spot, but you can adjust the zoom depending on how you want it. So as for brightness, it's it's going to serve most needs. It really is crazy bright. So ultimately, it's a flashlight, and we understand the basic idea of how a flashlight works. The question is, can it stand up to the abuse? And that's what we're going to try now, so let's go. Now let's try the flashlight in water. You can see I've got a container of water here, and there you go, you can see it's working okay. Now in the real world, most likely it's just going to get rained on. You're not actually going to submerge it in water like this, but it's nice to know that if you do drop it in a deep puddle or something like that, at least it's going to be able to survive. And now let's take things to the next level by putting it in the freezer and see how it handles that. So you can see it's encased in ice all the way around, and I guess it's time to bring it out. I mean, it looks like it's working okay, but let's crack it open. And there you go, it's very cold, but it is turning on. It's completely frozen over the button, so let's use some water to try and get off the excess ice. And there you go, it seems to be working fine. Let's change mode. So we're into strobe mode, we're into SOS, we're into high, medium, low. So it seems to have survived that absolutely fine. And now we're going to try a drop test from waist height. Let's just drop it a few more times, including on the ends. So that drop on the end is probably one of the most abusive, but you can see it still looks to be okay. Yes, there's a little bit chipping on the paint, but nothing major, and of course our lens hasn't broken, so I think it passes the drop tests. Now let's see how it manages with a car running over it, if we can just get the cat to move out of the way. So yeah, we're going to run it over with the car and then just see how it handles it. Okay, so that was quite a lot of abuse. Let's take a look. Okay, definitely took off some of the paint. Let me turn it off. Yeah, definitely did a little bit of abuse to it. I mean, you are running it over, you know, from a car and grinding it against the concrete, but it is still working. You can see, turn on, we can change the modes. It looks funny on camera, but it does seem to be working okay. And yeah, let's see if we can still unscrew everything, if it's gone out of shape or if it seems to be okay. So that cap came off okay, and it doesn't look bent. Let's take a look on the other end, see the zoom still works. Yep, that's still working okay. So it seems to have survived okay, although of course it has damaged the anodized paint. Let's see if the end cap unscrews or if that's been bent. No, you can see that is unscrewing okay. And of course our lens can get broken either. So apart from scratching some paint, it survived that test quite well. So here's the before and the after. You can see it did take quite a beating in my tests, but it still works perfectly. It still comes on. I can still adjust the zoom like that. In fact, it still holds a pressure. If I push this down, you might not be able to hear on camera, but there's a pressure there, an air pressure, so all of the seals are still good. So apart from some cosmetic damage, it appears to be absolutely fine. And honestly, if your flashlight is going to go through more torture than that, you probably have bigger things to worry about in life. So I think it's an amazing flashlight. It really does stand up to the abuse. And here's the thing, they were generous enough to not only send me one as a gift. I lost my old flashlight. It's an interesting story, and when they heard that story, they were kind enough to send me this flashlight, but they also gave an extra one that I can give away. So check the post to know how to enter the giveaway to win this flashlight along with the battery and the charger. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.